Here's the latest on the email front. A federal judge ordered the State Department to provide records to show whether Hillary Clinton and her close aide, Huma Abedin, received security training while they were at the State Department. This is standard stuff that everybody has to do. The State Department employees are required. Everybody has to undergo annual security and IT training to show that they are up to speed on all of the precautions that need to be taken. But there is no record of either doing that while they were at the State Department. At first, the State Department said that they never received any training. But later, Clinton was trained. It was said that Clinton was trained in person at an orientation, sort of a personal session, I guess. A federal judge now ordered the State Department to address these questions or to face depositions on this matter about their procedures, since they are obviously a publicly funded agency that taxpayer dollars go towards all of this training and all of the people who are employed there. So Bradley Moss has been looking into this. He's an attorney for the Daily Caller News Foundation. Bradley, thank you for being with us today. So explain to everybody at home why this is a big deal in your mind.
Absolutely, Martha. Happy to do so. So all State Department employees, everyone who holds a clearance at the State Department, has to get this basic training so they understand all the details of what they're working with, especially when it comes to classified information. And of course, you know, we're 68 days now from the presidential election, and everyone knows about Hillary Clinton's email saga. Everyone knows what the director of the FBI said, namely that her and her senior staff were extremely careless in how they handled classified information while they were at the State Department, including the fact that Secretary Clinton didn't recognize classification portion markings. These are the basic kind of things that you would learn about in that security training. Now, we know that the State Department has said she got an in-person orientation. We have no idea what that meant. We have no idea who provided it, what it entailed. It may have been completely legitimate and substantive, but we don't know yet, and that's what the judge is asking the State Department to provide more details on.
All right, so let's say she never did it, you know, that it's compliance and she never did that. What would be the ramifications for that?
Oh, I mean, from a legal standpoint, for her, there's no ramifications. It's more of a political and public interest aspect right now. I'm not here to say who people should vote for, but from our standpoint, from FOIA and from bringing information out to the public, this is something to be considered, something to be debated of whether or not this affects how people choose to evaluate her competency and qualification to become President of the United States and how they'll decide to vote come November.
Yeah, we remember that Director Comey said that regardless of whether these emails were marked classified, because Hillary Clinton made a big point of saying that nothing was marked classified, like a stamp on top of that document. He said there's, you know, given her background and her position, she would be expected to understand, obviously, what kind of information is classified and what isn't.
Yeah, and that's, again, this is the very basic kind of thing you would walk through in that security awareness training. It's a online agency portal normally is what most people have to do, so you recognize not only classification markings, but also the type of information you should understand is at least reasonably likely to be classified, and you should take precautions, whether it's you sending it or was most of the time with Secretary Clinton receiving it, that she should have recognized it as such. And that's what I believe Director Comey was referencing. That's something she should have known about. And depending on what this in-person orientation was like and how many times she got it, we don't know how well trained she was.
So if indeed she never took it, is it fair to say that you believe that would be careless and that it would show that she felt she fit into a different category? She didn't have to do what everyone else did.
Correct. If she didn't do it, and we don't know if Huma Abedin did it, we have incomplete records on whether or not Cheryl Mills did all her training. It speaks to a certain arrogance and certain level of those rules are for everybody else that existed in the Clinton State Department. Yeah.
Well, we heard her say that there's a Hillary standard and then there's a standard for everyone else. When she said that, she thought that it meant that she's under higher scrutiny than other people, but you're arguing that perhaps it's just the opposite. Interesting. Bradley, thank you very much. Good having you here.
Happy to help. Thanks so much.